We are so excited to be joined today by author Debbie Bradshaw Badois. She wrote the newly released book, Dethroning Your Personal Tyrants. And so, Debbie, thank you for joining us and tell us about this book.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate the opportunity to share my published work. I will tell you the book is really kind of it's wrapped up into I would say anecdotes from my personal experience. I guess my inspiration for writing this book, I know that's a question you're going to get to, but I have to kind of lead with that to frame what this meat of the book is really about. Everybody goes through experiences in their life, good and bad, and I would say the word tyrant in my title is kind of metaphoric for tyrants in your life that could be anything. They don't necessarily have to be actually a person, although many of us have those tyrants in our life that we have to detoxify, right? And so I would say the three tyrants in my life, which was the inspiration for writing my book and then sharing it through informative chapters, was I actually struggled with abandonment issues when I was a child. My mother left and left four kids, and through that journey, I had to kind of find myself and didn't really realize that I was living in a dysfunctional kind of environment, but what was normal for me was not normal for my next door neighbor or down the street. And out of that, I obviously developed certain issues that led me to toxic relationships in my life, that in later life I had to actually embrace and then take my power back and again detoxify those relationships. And then lastly, I was diagnosed with a bladder condition 38 years ago that was incurable. And that became my health issues became another tyrant to kind of take control of and then release, and know that I can partner with it and but still let go of the idea that I have this, but it doesn't have me, so to speak. And so those were the three factors that, going through my healing journey, a lot of years, nearly 5 decades before I started healing, and then understanding that, you can take control. You don't allow vices, even, because a tyrant could even be a codependency. It could be a sex addiction, shopping addiction, drug addiction, whatever that is for an individual. And this is why I feel like my readers span anybody can identify with it. Anyone who's ever gone through like a breakup or even or a divorce or any of that. These are tyrants that, well, how do you heal from that? And sometimes people just kind of get on a hamster wheel and run and don't really heal. They go through it, they go around it basically, but they don't really go through it and heal, and then not make that same mistake twice. Okay. And it always starts somewhere. So from that, from my experiences, I began to go through, obviously personal therapy, and then my own sort of, letting go process, and what that process meant for me, and hence what came to be dethroning your personal tyrants. And from that, I developed 12 chapters, 12 informative chapters that are pretty easy to read, and that everyone can identify with something in there that is, again, like a tool to utilize and to apply to your life. And then you can begin to live fully present and in peace, and letting go of those tyrants to live productively and taking the throne of your life back.
What a powerful message that, and everyone has a tyrant of some sort in their life. So everyone can get something out of this book. So, and obviously you touched on it a little bit, but would you go into and just tell us a little bit more, or even more about, like, what was the main inspiration that, would you say, for writing this book?
So I guess the main inspiration was, there was a turning point for me to decide, do I want to remain stagnant? Okay. And in the past, right? Because sometimes when you're trying to heal from not just emotional wounds, physical wounds, whatever that is, again, it depends on, it's going to be different for everybody, whatever the tyrant is. But I guess the inspiration for me was, wow, I can't remain stagnant, and I have to realize that I got to give the love back to myself. Okay. And the inspiration is, when you start giving yourself a lot of self-care, tender loving care, and realizing that you're not defined by your past, and then you're brave and bold enough to share with the world, basically, that, what, I shouldn't be ashamed of any of those experiences, because without those experiences, I would not be here today promoting my book on Zoom. Okay. And that I can be a light or a voice for someone else. And then I really did the work of, wow, I'm going to do this, and I'm inspired to make a difference. So it really became kind of a catharsis, right? That a cathartic experience, because then I realized that as I started writing and doing this project, I started voicing it and sharing my story to small groups. And then I am a college educator. I do teach writing. And therefore, in those experiences, in those small groups, as I began to share my knowledge with students, then I was saying, I need to practice everything I preach to my students about the art of writing and going there emotionally, right? And so that was basically the inspiration to, okay, I did the tough work. Now I'm ready to put it down in black and white.
I love this. I think this sounds like such an incredible book. I will be picking up a copy. And so,
Thank you.
as we, I mean, is there anything else that you would like to share with us about the book, about you, or about more about the message? Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
The only thing is, you don't have to. I mentioned I am a critical writing analysis instructor for over 30 years. And I think the message that I would want to send to anybody is, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. It doesn't matter what you do professionally. And that was the loop that I became on, where it was like, it didn't matter how far academically, how your achievements in your career, will say, right? Or what you achieved. The biggest factor is, if you're healed and you feel that you wake up every day and you think, I'm not bogged down by what this person said about me, who I am the center of attention, because at the end of the day, it's just you, and it's you performing and you living your best life, basically, right? And so what I would have to say to anybody out there is, I think what the book is kind of a revelation to allow people to know that it's an evolution. Wherever you are on your journey to heal or to detoxify bad habits, people that aren't good for you in your life, or just starting something new and knowing that, what, I can do it and I can climb that mountain, right? Wherever you are, I think that, you cannot measure yourself with anybody else but yourself, and learn to just let all that fear go and live bolder and braver.
I think this book sounds amazing. It sounds like there is something for everyone, and everyone can read this and really start living a better life. Because, maybe people don't even recognize that they have these tyrants in their life, but we all
Right.
do. So I want to let our audience know that they can pick up this book anywhere online that the books are sold, on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple Books. And thank you so much for sharing all this with us, Debbie. And we want to reach back out to you soon and see how things are going. And thank you for joining us today.
You're most welcome. Thank you for giving me the opportunity again, Stacey.